In that case, we'll do it live. Good morning. It's Thursday. We have been here all week. It's been a weird one.
Yeah, basically, I've been sick. Nothing major. Not the coronavirus.
Not the Rona. So what do we got today, Cameron? What is going on in America this week?
Normally, it's Totar Win Thursday and all of that, but we're actually going to shelve that because it's worth discussing the fact that Georgia is going to start to slowly open back up, and there apparently is some conflict between Donnie Two Scoops and Governor Shotgun.
Governor Shotgun, Governor Chainsaw.
No, you remember the ad where?
Oh, I do. I remember the one with the shotgun and the one with the chainsaw.
The one with the shotgun was just hysterical to me. It's like, I can't believe you would threaten a 16-year-old boy with a gun. And it's like, guys, that's the joke. He's not actually threatening anybody.
Talk about they can't take a joke. Oh, there's the F-bomb.
Man, early in the day. I guess that's what happens when we miss a few shows. Chris just can't control the potty mouth.
It's not a potty mouth. It's a killer mouth. Arr.
I was in the Army, son. Everybody talked that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a young child, before some dramatically invasive orthopedic surgeries where they broke and split and reconstructed my jaw and about 10 years of braces, all of my teeth pointed at the enemy. A lot of cosmetics going on in this grill. But anyway, so the Donald and the shotgun governor. In fact, the Donald went so far as to say, I strongly disagree with some reopening decisions. Now, some reopening decisions. Let's be clear. What the Donald is talking about, basically, Kemp's plan to reopen includes gyms, barbershops, and nail salons. And Donnie thinks it's too early for those.
I don't know, man. I could stand to have a barbershop open. At this point, my hair is getting so long, I'm considering just letting it grow long.
Okay, so there's the Rona hair. There we go.
No, there's the I got out of the Army hair. You can't make me do the high and tight. That's what that is.
Oh, it's in my beard. Okay. So, and actually, spoiler alert, I might go back to the high and tight for a film we're making this summer. Keep an eye out for that one.
Maybe. Anyhow, so what's really interesting about this is on Tuesday, Trump was asked about Kemp reopening, and he had a lot of praise for Kemp, described him as smart and capable and so forth. And then yesterday during the press briefing is when he straight up said, I told the governor I disagree with how he's going to do this. And so there's a bit of a contradiction there. But let me back up and just say something. I voted for Brian Kemp.
Yeah, me too.
It was him or Stacey Abrams, and that was not a question at all. So I'm actually really proud of the fact that I voted for Brian Kemp, because this is such a ballsy, gutsy move. This is what leadership looks like. And while there is a lot of criticism about the things that he is choosing to allow to voluntarily reopen, and let's be real clear, he's not ordering these people back. He is he is lifting the restrictions on them and actually replacing them with a different set of less stringent restrictions.
Mhm.
So it's not like he's just saying, y'all go back to work or you're all fired. That narrative is false. What I think is really impressive here is this is what real leadership looks like. And this is the leadership of somebody that has existed in the business world. In business, you reach crossroads and you have to make a choice. And you can't be certain that one choice is necessarily better than the others. So you have to weigh the pros and cons. You got to do the risk reward analysis. And you have to make a choice and you have to stick with it. You have to be willing to bet it all to win it all, so to speak. And what Brian Kemp is doing here not only could potentially cost him, the governor's mansion, but like he might have to move to another state if this goes bad. He might not be able to go out in public without people spitting on him. And I think once you move away from Macon and Atlanta and Savannah and Marietta, Georgia is not a densely populated state. There's a lot of spread from person to person, and I mean like physical spread.
Well, and even, Atlanta being the exception, even the bigger cities in Georgia, like Savannah, Macon, they're not densely populated, and they're very large.
Yeah.
So Atlanta is a different creature. Atlanta's a little, but only a little more like New York than Savannah or Macon. But a lot like, in much the same way that LA is, Atlanta is a suburb community. People that work in Atlanta largely live outside the city.
Not only that, but in comparing things to New York, I don't think it can be overstated how much the subway system in New York contributed to the fact that they have so many cases in New York. Not only is it one of the most densely, per square mile, densely packed cities in the world, but everything in that city is mass transit. Owning your own vehicle is strongly discouraged. Hey, just take the train, take the train, take the train. Well, when you've got everything from Wall Street execs to drunk hobos all crammed into the same little fart tube, that sounds like an ideal way for a disease to spread. So Atlanta has MARTA, which is really a pale imitation of the New York subway system. But okay, fine. Maybe Atlanta, because again, this is all voluntary. Maybe Atlanta does not reopen quite yet, but there's no reason for us to not try. Because what we can't do is stay shut down forever. We just can't. It won't work. So I didn't even mean to go on that long. I'm just really impressed with seriously, Brian Kemp's got balls big enough to orbit a small moon around if he's going to do this. Because whatever governor went first was going to be the sacrificial lamb. And while he might talk like a dumb Southern boy, Brian Kemp is not dumb. And he had to know how he was just going to be lampooned and skewered by the media. And the fact that he's willing to do this, even without the express support of the president, well, frankly, that's what you hire an executive officer to do. That's what you have a leader do. They make the choice and they stick with it.
Well, and just so you guys understand a little something, this is what it looks like in downtown Atlanta on just a random normal day, right? This is what it looks like in downtown New York on a random normal day? Atlanta, New York, right? And then here's a picture of Atlanta during one of the street festivals, right? When you got the vendors out. But this is a special event that people are coming out to. New York, this is business as usual. And it's a dirty city. You'll notice the majority of these people are wearing either black or dark colors because it's a dirty ass city. This is Atlanta, right? So that's worth understanding as well. Sorry, my camera. I bumped my camera when I went to type on the damn keyboard. Everything went pear shaped.
Okay.
Anyway, big damn difference there. Now, okay, we're already running over 10 minutes. I want to share this with you guys. This is y'all remember Steve Rodemeyer, who explicitly gave me permission to use his full name, but I'm not going to show the Facebook page because I don't want to out anybody who commented on it on the show, as it were. But this is I'm reading this from Steve Rodemeyer posts on Facebook. Okay, I live in Georgia. The nation is judging our governor's decision, I suspect, purely by the sound bites that their local trusted news sources have touted. These are not the frivolous, offhand comments of an individual. These are the decisions made by a governor weighing the opinions of a qualified team of medical professionals. If you don't agree with it, I can sort of see the concerns. The guidelines are still strongly encouraged, and no one says you have to open. No one says you have to leave the house. He is expecting his citizens to act like adults. In contrast, other governors are making authoritarian decrees, threats, and ultimatums, to the point of destroying scores of small businesses county by county, fining individuals for driving alone inside their personal vehicle. How many people find that acceptable? That also believe big business is evil and that government is going to save them. Seriously, gang, use your head. Carry hand sanitizer. Wear a mask. Buy groceries. Don't cough on folks. Wash your damn hands. Now do it again. Keep older folks at home. Shop for them. Same with asthmatics and COPD patients. As perspective, the issues NYC faces with around 9 million people with a density of about 11,000 people per square kilometer. That's just the city. Georgia's population, Georgia's, the state, Georgia's population is about 11 million. Statewide, that's around 250 people per square kilometer. If you think one solution is correct for both models, you need to back off. Um, I'll take that just one step further. If you think one solution is correct for both models, it's not. You need to back off. Either you're a Democrat because you can't do math, but I repeat myself, or you're a damn liar. Either you're capable of simple arithmetic, or you're a damn liar. No. If you're capable of simple arithmetic and you hold those opinions, then you're a damn liar. Either you can't do math or you're a damn liar.
Or you're still so deep in Plato's cave, you don't even know what a cave is.
You're still in the innermost cave. You haven't gone out enough caves to realize that there's another cave to go out to.
Right. Right. Because I think there's at least some of these people that really don't understand the carefully constructed bubble they have spent their entire life in. Like if you believe you're enlightened, why seek more enlightenment? Anyhow, so let me, and of course this is part of our prep, but I'm going to re-ask you the question. Okay.
Yeah, bring it on.
The conflict between Kemp and Trump, is it genuine or are they playing the game? And in order to just kind of lay this out for anybody that might be watching, when I say the game, I mean, there's a fantastic opportunity for optics here because now you have to pick between Trump and Kemp. And that's hysterical.
Yes, because Donald Trump must always be wrong.
Yes. Yes. That is exactly right. So, is this 4D chess an optics masterstroke, or Donald Trump and Brian Kemp coming into conflict again? Because it's not the first time they've disagreed over serious issues.
That's correct. And just like I said while we're doing the prep, it's a tough call. I know Brian Kemp personally, not well. We've spoken a few times, and I've gotten a very good impression from him. I like Brian, I really do, and Brian's a liberty guy. He's a constitutional carry guy. Brian is a, an old school, hardcore Republican conservative. Very much a freedom first guy. Donald Trump was at one point, and still to some extent must remain, a New York Democrat. Now, there was a time 40 years ago that Democrats were capable of having intelligent thoughts, that Democrats were capable of holding reasoned, principled positions.
Like socialism is bad, not good.
For example, now that time has passed. There are no longer reasonable people who are also Democrats. With the sole exception being those who have voted Democrat their entire lives and are just politically oblivious. They just, well, my folks voted Democrat, and my grandparents voted Democrat, so I vote Democrat, but I don't really pay attention to politics. Okay, so you shouldn't vote if you don't pay attention to politics. If you're not listening, if you're not educated on the matter, you shouldn't vote. Yeah, for every Democrat, okay, I hadn't even considered going down this route this morning. I apologize that I'm about to run down a rabbit hole. One of the things the gun-grabbing left likes to go on about is we should have rules. Um, we should have rules about who can get a license and who can buy a gun, and you should at least have to give some training and know how to use. Okay. Let's start licensing people to vote. If you don't know what's happening, if you don't know who your governor is, or your mayor's name, if you don't know who your state representative is, if you've never written a letter to an elected official, or called one, or attended a political rally, or if you are not aware of what is happening around you politically, why should you be allowed to vote? I mean, if your argument is going to be that people who aren't professional warfighting snipers shouldn't be allowed to buy a gun, then why should illiterate homeless people be allowed to vote?
Because it's their right. Oh, I just made a point, didn't I?
Oh shit, what? What? Okay, you want your socialized medicine? You get to pay for my ammo stockade.
Oh, they see.
When you start buying my ammunition, we can talk about socialized medicine and whether or not you get to tell me to own a gun. Because please believe you will be buying me enough ammunition for me to keep my position on holding that gun. So, now as far as Donald and Brian arguing about this, I can I think it is probably a genuine argument that conveniently places the left in that perilous dichotomy where they have to choose between agreeing with Brian Kemp or agreeing with Donald Trump. Um, well, I mean, like the other day when Dan Crenshaw just absolutely skull raped poor Bill Maher. Maher was all like, "Well, Donald Trump didn't, he didn't do enough to stop the coronavirus." Okay, I got you. So it sounds like you agree with him. Well, there were still people coming in after he shut down travel to China. Okay, so it sounds like you agree with Donald Trump, and you just wanted him to take a more authoritarian action. Is that right? You wanted to, you would have preferred that he just say, even you American citizens who are still over in China trying to get home, uh, no, screw you. You have to stay there. That's your position, right? Because that's it. If you disagree with Donald Trump on the way he's handled coronavirus so far, then your position is either that he has overreacted and should not have shut down travel, that wasn't a useful or necessary measure, or that he should have shut down the borders 100% and allowed not even U.S. residents or citizens to return to the country from abroad. Those are your options.
Yeah, those are the options. It's entirely possible that your theory about that it's both is correct, because the one thing Donald Trump really seems to have is the killer instinct. Um, he just seems to get politics in the same way that professional wrestlers know how to really work up a crowd. There's a very similar sort of vibe there. And surprise, surprise, Donald Trump has dipped his toes in the WWE before. So that's kind of funny. But anyhow, um, over the course of all of this, Donald Trump has been oddly prophetic. Crowder did just a fantastic bit discussing this issue where, he suggests shutting down travel to China, and he's racist, and then he suggests shutting down travel to Europe, and he's a bad guy for hating Europe. He says maybe hydroxychloroquine will make a difference, and he's practicing medicine without a license, and yet the evidence has borne him out to be correct. And
consistently and repeatedly, yes.
Yes. And so, and there's another thing going on here. One of the things that Trump was really, really, really criticized for was his comments several days ago about the president having total authority. And now what's happening here is he's really shoving it in everybody's face that I don't like some of what Brian Kemp is doing, but I am not going to interfere with it. For anybody that can remember things for longer than 5 minutes, they'll see the contradiction here. And it's part of why so many news stations have actually stopped carrying the presidential briefing. Because if you are capable of nuance and you are capable of understanding, that there are opposing sides to all of these issues that have to be discussed and taken into account, you realize that the president is acting very reasonable and like a responsible leader. And so I think what happened here is once this situation got dropped into everybody's lap, Donald Trump's killer instinct kicked in. And he's like, I can kill a whole bunch of birds with one stone here. And there is some criticism where Trump's setting it up so that he's immune from failure but can still claim credit for successes. That's actually not a bad thing to do in politics. It's all about optics. It's all about the art of the possible. And I think Brian Kemp is the kind of guy who's willing to take that risk. I mean, we could have this fall on the governor, or we could have it fall on the president. And if you're willing to be really tactical in your thinking, you'd rather lose a governor than lose the White House.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%. I got nothing to add to that.
so yeah, man, open it back up. Some of the bigger cities, maybe not, but that's one of the things that has bothered me about this whole thing from the beginning. Is that why do we have to have this one size fits all? And I've seen the analogy on Facebook that says allowing some places to reopen while I'm going to try that again. Allowing some places to reopen while others stay closed is like having a no peeing section in the swimming pool. And I get why that even looks like a very smart analysis. But it's really not, because Georgia and New York are such vastly different states, areas, again, with the subways and the population density. Hell, just the average temperature difference. All of these things are
Yeah, we have a milder flu season in the South than they do up north every year, precisely because, well, it gets warmer earlier in Georgia than it does in New York. Um, I've got family. I've got family up at Fort Drum. It snowed this week.
It's almost May, and it snowed.
It's warm enough down here. The only reason I'm even wearing a shirt right now, I mean, the right to bear arms, but the only reason I'm even wearing a shirt at all right now is because I'm on the air. With the exception of that one SpaghettiOs movie, I tend to wear clothes for the channel.
But the thing that's always bothered me about this, and it's again something that Donald Trump really seemed to understand, like when New York was asking for all those ventilators, and Trump was like, yeah, maybe you don't need all those ventilators. I'll send you some, and if you need more, I'm happy to send you more. And he ended up being right, because it's basic triage, it's basic problem solving, however you want to look at it. And the analogy that I used was, in my house, I have 2 toilets and 2 sinks. And if one of those toilets clogs, I don't treat both sinks and plunge both toilets. I plunge the clogged toilet for a whole bunch of reasons. I have limited resources. And what if I get to the toilet that's the actual problem last? Now I've created all this additional harm to my house. And it's sort of the same thing here. There's a lot of data that's coming out that says that the coronavirus, for the vast majority of us, we would be asymptomatic. We wouldn't even know that we had it. You've got to have multiple other comorbidities that factor into the equation. A lot of the deaths, and this is awful, but it's true, but a large percentage of the deaths from the coronavirus have occurred in nursing homes. Well, if you're in the nursing home, you're already old, you're already sick, you already need extra medical care. So just like the flu running through a nursing home would be more likely to kill nursing home patients, well, COVID-19 running through the nursing home is going to be more likely to kill nursing home patients. So instead of tanking the entire economy and just saying, oh, we have this one-size-fits-all solution for everybody, we have to be adult enough to have the conversation that says, no, it's the people that already have heart problems that need to be more careful. It's the people that are older than a certain age that need to be more careful. You solve the problem by solving the problem. And as we pull resources away from the people that are actually high risk, we do them a disservice. We could actually have a lower overall net cost in what we're doing, and we could have a much more intelligent, targeted response. Does New York need extra help? Yeah, of course. But does Georgia need extra help? Maybe not. And let's not forget, we're supposed to listen to the experts. We're supposed to listen to the experts. Okay, fine. Well, the experts got this wrong in the beginning. The World Health Organization was more worried about not acknowledging Taiwan as a country. And you understand what was being done there. If you haven't seen the clip, go back and watch it. This reporter is asking a very specific question about the Taiwanese response to the coronavirus. And an honest answer to that question had the potential to affect how all of us responded to the coronavirus. And the guy pretended like he didn't even hear the question and just moved on and ended up terminating the call instead of admitting that there was this data that came out of Taiwan that was important. So I'm tired of all this stuff with the experts. I am 100% on Brian Kemp's side here. He's got to make a choice. He's making it, and he's either going to be right or wrong. And yeah, the no more of this one size fits all stuff. It's been said over and over and over again that in the United States, every state is its own laboratory for what could and could not work. Well, Georgia's going to be the laboratory. And instead of being afraid of that, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, which is hand sanitizer, wear a mask. I've been an essential employee this whole time. I've been going to work this whole time, and I don't have the coronavirus.
That's fair. We're basically gonna do the same here. I'm gonna be getting out and about a little more and shooting some videos, making some movies, making some commercials. I gotta shoot Friday morning, but basically, if I'm not out performing professional services or going to buy diapers, we're hanging out around the house. So, all right, that's all I've got this morning.
Yeah, that's all I've got. I have to go be an essential employee.
Yeah, buddy. So we will see y'all tomorrow morning. Be safe out there, and wash your damn hands. Also, hey brother, hang out for just a second. I want to show you something before you cut out.